letter continuously throughout the Sundays following. Today is an exception that all the three readings beautifully complement and even interpret each other. Sa Gospel ato nabatian ang pagproklamar ni Jesus sang Beatitudes. He proclaimed the poor in spirit as blessed. This same poor in spirit is also described in the first reading by the prophet Zephaniah as a people humble and lowly who take refuge in the name of the Lord. And in the second reading, Paul offers even a better understanding of the poor in spirit by reminding the community of Corinth God's reason for choosing them. And I quote, "God chose the foolish of the world to shame the wise, and God chose the weak of the world to shame the strong, and God chose the lowly and despised of the world, those who count for nothing, to reduce to nothing those who are something, so that no human being might boast before God." You know, as I was preparing the homily, it suddenly dawned on me that for the past 4 Sundays, our readings revolve around the common theme of smallness, vulnerability, poverty, humility, and the like. Even the intervening feast, the very popular and beloved feasts for us Filipinos, the Feast of Poong Nazareno and the Santo Niño, carry the same theme. The same theme on humility, on being little in front of God. The first Sunday, 4 weeks ago, which also was the feast of the Lord's baptism, highlights the desire of Jesus to be counted among the sinners. And he lined up, waiting for his turn to be baptized. A few days later, we celebrated the Poong Nazareno, which is the image of a God that has been reduced to a helpless victim of the injustice of the Jews and the Romans, weighed down by the cross. A picture of utter vulnerability and helplessness. And this is the Son of God. Sa madason nga Domingo, we celebrated the Feast of the Santo Niño. Amo man, God made himself, this infinite God, he reduced himself to a small child. Pope Benedict beautifully puts it, nagpakadyutay siya, agud aton siya, mabaton sa aton mga kamot, kag makugos sa aton nga mga bukton. And then he said, this is the eternal word that has been made short, and the word he used is abbreviated. The Logos, abbreviated, made short, so that we can understand it. And last Sunday, the third Sunday of Ordinary Time, we saw Jesus beginning his ministry. Where did he start his ministry? Not in Jerusalem or in the center of Israel, but in the peripheries, in what the Gospel calls Galilee of the Gentiles. dun sa mga higad-higad, sa mga laylayan. Kag nagsugod siya sa pagtukod sa iya simbahan, nagpili siya sa iya mga apostoles. Sino iya ginpili? Hindi ang mga pari o mga scribes, experts of the law. Hindi ang mga influential leaders. Ginpili niya were simple people, even uneducated, fishermen from the shores of Galilee. So muna, for the past 4 Sundays, muna ang tema, gasulit-sulit. And I was wondering, why this pattern? And I realized that we have just started the liturgical celebration of what is called the ordinary of the year, starting with the first Sunday, which was the baptism of the Lord. And ang Santa Iglesia, like a mother and teacher, nagatudlo man sa aton nga ining pagkaabot ni Jesus agud sa pagtuman sang misyon nga iya nabaton sa iya amay, ginsugdan sa sini nga mga readings aton nabasa, ginsugdan dito sa Galilee, sa mga higad-higad. Kag ginpili niya ining mga jutay, the unimportant. Kag ano ang iya opening message? The kingdom of God is at hand. Mag-aabot na ang ginharian sang Dios. Kag amo niya misyon sa pagbalay sa sining nga ginharian sang Dios. So ginapa intindi sa aton kung ano ining ginharian sang Dios. Lain sa ginharian sang kalibutan. It is nothing like the kingdom of the world. It is based, the kingdom of God is based on littleness, humility, trust. Ang ginharian sang kalibutan, ano ang pundasyon? Power, riches, influence. Amo na ang ginharian sang kalibutan. Ang ginharian sang Dios is just the opposite. The kingdom of God is totally different from the kingdom of the world. While the kingdom of the world is built on power, prestige, wealth, and influence, the kingdom of God is built in humility, trust, and surrender to God. That's why he says, the kingdom of the world, the kingdom of God, sino makasulod sini? Ang mga bata. That was the gospel of the Feast of Santo Niño. Unless you become like little children, you will not enter the kingdom of God. And today, sino ang nagapanag-iyas ang ginharian sang Diyos? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for they shall possess the kingdom of God. For theirs is the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God starts with small things, small people, everything small. Like a mustard seed that eventually grows into a large bush where the birds of the air take shelter. So ang standard sang ginharian sang Diyos, lain, diametrically opposed to the standard of the world. Indeed, God's thoughts are not man's thoughts, nor are His ways man's ways. Kag sa sininga Domingo, ginabutyag sa aton ni Jesus ang kalipay nga aton mabaton sa sininga ginharian sang Dios. The true happiness that the kingdom of God alone can give us. Kag ano ini? The true success in life, the blessedness, And mabatian naton, daw makibot kita, blessed are the poor, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are the meek, blessed are those who are persecuted. Amo galini ang blessedness, ang kalipay. Ano bot silingon sini? The more critical question is, ano gid ang tuod nga kalipay? What constitutes blessedness, happiness, true joy? And the gospel tells us the true and lasting happiness cannot come from anything that doesn't last. It cannot then come from power, wealth, fame, as we all know. Who are the most miserable people now in the world? You read that in the papers. Those that are very rich, those that are very powerful, suddenly, madula, mabankrupt, subong, ang mga nagkawat sang kabansang bayan, di na, nagapanago, ano na, it doesn't last. Success is not in being rich or getting to the top or having fulfilled our greatest dream in our career or having attained power and influence. All this pass. And no insurance can guarantee our security. So anuman matabo sa aton, manggaranon man kita o imol, ang mga nagalatabo sa aton, favorable man o unfavorable, hindi kita mapiktuhan kung ara kita sa ginharian sang Diyos. Kaya ano ang ginharian sang Diyos? The kingdom of God is where God is king. I always repeat that. Where He reigns. Nga siya ang nagabuot sa aton kabuhi. And to be in this kingdom is to give our life to Him so that ang iya gusto amo aton himuon, ang iya kabubuton amo ang aton tumanon. It's a total surrender of ourselves to God. And this is precisely what the poor do when everything fails. Kay waay sila kaugalingon nga poder, waay sila kakayahan. And in the end, they say, no one else can help us. And so, we go to God and surrender ourselves to God and trust our life to God. And when they do that, they become the happiest persons in the world. These are the poor in spirit. Nga. Because in God's hands, you are sure. You are in good hands. God's hands can care better than your own hands. So anong matabo sa imo ay kakabalakan. And this is the joy of a person who belongs to the kingdom. Jesus came to build the kingdom of God here on earth. But we always know that the kingdom of God starts with each of us. The kingdom of God is within you. And so, this beautiful gospel that we have heard invites us to welcome the kingdom of God in our hearts. Let God reign in our hearts. Let Him take charge of our life. And then, why kita kabalakan? Maimol man kita, manggaranon man kita, why kita kabalakan? Ara kita sa kamot sang Diyos. And this is what Saint Teresa of Avila expressed in her beautiful prayer. Let nothing upset you. Nada te turbe. Ano man ang mangyayari, ano man ang matabo sa aton, way kita kabalakan, ara kita sa kamot sang Dios. Siya nagahari sa aton tagipusoon, sa aton kabuhi. So, and that is also echoed by St. Paul. If God is for us, who is against us? Who can separate us from the love of God? Shall trial, tribulation, suffering, prison, even death? No, nothing can separate us from the love of God. And this is the ultimate happiness that we seek. The total security in life that only God can give. Nada te turbe. Let nothing upset you. He who was God, in that same prayer of St. Therese, has everything. God alone suffices. Solo Dios basta. And this is the very heart of the blessedness of those who enter into the kingdom of God.